Hey guys, it's me, your girl, the housewife Hustla. It's summertime. We have to go to a barbecue this weekend and bring a side dish, so we're doing baked beans. With a twist, we've got bacon, peach jam, and bourbon in these beans. You're gonna like it. Come on, let me show you how. Okay, so for these black beans, we start them on the stove, but they finish in the oven. So go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Okay, so I've got a super hot cast iron pan here going. I've sprayed it lightly with a little bit of avocado oil. And the reason I do that is because the more fat, the better with this. If you are a vegetarian and you don't like bacon, that's fine. This is a perfect opportunity for you to use butter or ghee or whatever vegetarians use, I don't know. But we're gonna start with 4 slices of bacon and we're gonna let this render down and get all this nice oil out. This takes about 8 to 10 minutes. After that, we'll take the bacon out, we'll put it on a paper towel lined plate. So my favorite thing about this dish is because everyone loves it. I get so much good feedback on it, but it really is a great side dish to bring to a barbecue. And it's also something you can do a day in advance or more, and then you can reheat it on the stove, which just makes everybody that cooks beans knows that when you make beans, they just taste better the longer they've had to spend the night in the fridge. Okay, so my pan's gotten really hot, and normally that's when everybody freaks out when you see all this dark stuff, but what that is flavor. And so we want that. If this looks like a lot of onion, it's because it is. I had a really large onion and I wanted to use it up in this dish. So that's actually just 1 onion right there. Get that going. And then we're gonna take a cup of chicken broth. I love these little things. They are so convenient. And we'll go ahead and deglaze that pan and get that onion cooked up. Scraping all that flavor from the bottom. So we kind of boil this onion in a way. Getting every little bit of flavor from that bacon fat. I wish you guys could smell this, it's amazing. Turn the heat up on that. All right, we're gonna let that hang out for about 5 minutes. So as you can see, the method that I'm using for this is I'm just kind of boiling the onion in that chicken broth and that bacon fat. I like that better than a caramelized onion because this is going in the oven, so it's gonna continue to cook. I have 1 green bell pepper. I'll add to that. That's my oven telling me it's ready. And bell pepper is optional, and so is jalapeno. I have 2 jalapenos right here. My girlfriend had some fresh jalapenos in her garden. She asked me if I wanted them. I said, hell yeah. And so here they are. So this does make it really extra spicy, but because we're using peach jam and brown sugar, it's okay to have a little heat and sweet together. I think it goes really well. So we'll just continue to render this down, sweat all these yummy vegetables out. And then we've got some garlic here, and this is about 3 cloves. So get yourself at least a tablespoon, more if you like it. I like a lot of garlic, so for me, I can never have enough. And we'll let this go another 5 or so minutes. All right, so after 5, 7 minutes or so, it just depends on how bold you are and how hot you have your stove, which for me, I have it pretty high. I've got 3 cans of white beans, Great Northern white beans that I've drained and rinsed, and drain them again, get all that water out. We'll add that, give it a stir. This recipe is so much fun to double. You'll need a bigger pan, but I'll double this for a really big event. And then you can serve a lot of people. So one of the things we'll add next, a lot of baked bean recipes call for ketchup. I don't believe in ketchup. So I have a cup of tomato sauce here. We'll add that in. And then I have about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. We'll add that. I've got some dry mustard powder. That's about 2 teaspoons. We'll get this mixed up in here. And then, let's see. Oh yeah, we've got our sugar. So I use coconut palm sugar. This is 1 cup of coconut palm sugar. You can use brown sugar. We're a coconut palm sugar family because I try to keep that glycemic index low in our house. I am no dietitian. I am not a nutritionist, but it works for us, so that's what I use. But use whatever sugar you want, just make sure it's dark in color. I wish you could smell this. It smells really good. Okay, now, this is where it gets crazy. We are gonna use a jar, almost a whole jar, of a really high quality peach preserve or peach jam. You can use muscadine if you're in Louisiana like I am. You can also use apricot. It's just up to you. So I am using pretty much almost the whole jar. And this jar is about 12 ounces. So we'll use that. Give this a stir. Gonna add some salt and pepper. It's about a teaspoon and a half of salt and half a teaspoon of pepper. Give this a stir, get it all nice and incorporated. And then this recipe really originated with a 1/4 cup of bourbon, but I may or may not have used a little more. So I think I used about 1/3 cup of bourbon. And we have tons of bourbon kind of left over from the holidays. So this is a really good place to use that. I'm gonna do a pinch of red pepper. That might be 2 pinches, maybe 3. But we like things spicy around here. And with all that, the sweetness from the coconut palm sugar and the sweetness from the preserves, you really want to maybe add a little heat. That's also why I added the jalapeno. And that's optional. That's only if you want it. And then we'll go ahead and get all this bacon back in. Give it a stir. I'm gonna cover this. I'm gonna let it just hang out on a medium to high heat for about 15 minutes. All right, now the magic happens and we go to the oven. Okay guys, this is ready to go in. It's had a chance to simmer. We're gonna put this in here for 40 minutes. And I like to give yourself enough space. I have a small oven, but give yourself enough space so it's in the middle of the oven, middle rack. So do that 40 minutes and you can check it at about 25, but it's really not necessary. It's pretty foolproof. And we'll see this in a little bit. All right guys, we've had the beans in here in the oven, 350 degrees. We actually went to about 45 minutes. So they needed a little extra time. Let's take them out, show you what we got here. Ooh. All right. Okay, this looks really good. It smells really good. This is gonna be your new favorite thing to bring the next time you show up at a barbecue and someone asks you to bring a side dish.
Look at the camera and just say it looks delicious.
Looks delicious.
Taste it. I want to get the dog.
Yeah, it's fine. Sit. High five.
What a good
High five.
boy.
There you go.